I think we could make this one first preseason game. Frank does not get off the bench. And I think it depends on, like, is he running a 10-man rotation? Does he get 11 guys into the game and Frank doesn't get off? Does he get 12 guys into the game and Frank doesn't get off the bench? So I think the DEFCON level changes. For me personally, and maybe not completely for the reasons you think, but partially for the reasons you think, this would be a DEFCON. This would be a DEFCON 2 for me. Where are you at?
Exactly. I'm at a 2 as well.
You're at 2? Okay.
Yeah.
Two things. If that happened, I would immediately demand a release of all phone records involving trade talks involving Frank Ntilikina. And I would want to peruse those suckers. And I'd be like, why the fuck didn't you make a deal? Because now, I mean, look, but again, it's one preseason game. So it's like this, how much do you take from it? But it says something. I think it would say something. And I'm not saying I expect this to happen. And if anything, based on what Tibbs said today, it probably won't happen. He sung Frank's praises. I just like, what are you doing with the kid? What are you doing? Because he's a year away. I don't think they're extending him. We've gotten no such indication that they have any desire to do so. If anything, we've gotten reports that they won't. He's due an $8 million qualifying offer, which a qualifying offer can be rescinded, but raise your hand if you see the Knicks jumping up and down to offer to offer him that $8 million number next summer. So I don't know. It would call for me into question a lot of the thought process behind the scenes. Not to mention the fact that, yes, I still believe Frank Ntilikina can help a basketball team, and he deserves a shot to be able to do that. So that's where I'm at.
I agree wholeheartedly. Again, it's one preseason game. We'll see. But if he's running 10 players out there and Frank's not one of them, then that's definitely a head scratcher. I don't expect him to necessarily play on ball, but
I don't either. Yeah.
Right. Well, yes, for sure. But if you're running Dennis Smith Jr. and Elfrid Payton at the 1, and you're not giving Frank any opportunity, I understand that maybe the organization prefers him as an off-ball threat, but you got to at least give him the opportunity to show you that that's the situation in a new system under Tom Thibodeau. So I'd be a little bit concerned why he's not able to get that type of burn, especially because if you're starting Payton, I would sincerely hope you're not also starting Julius Randle. And if you're starting Dennis Smith Jr., if it's an effort to try to raise his trade value, okay. I mean, so what? Maybe you get a second round pick instead of just like trading him for matching salary at the deadline or letting him go at the end of the year. It doesn't have an effect. I think that if Dennis Smith Jr. wows the team in practice and in preseason and shows that he's a clear-cut and better player, he deserves the opportunity to start. Will it happen? I'm very, very skeptical that it does. So for Frank, though, you want him to at least have that opportunity. And if he's being buried on the bench again, only just one preseason game, meaningless, but it's the message. It's the fact of, I've been here for 4 coaches in 4 years. I've seen countless regime changes. I'm still standing. Why am I not getting the opportunity on the first game in 9 months to at least do what I can do?
Here or somewhere else?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, man. I just, if they don't make a trade, Robinson's going to play. Noel's going to play. Randall's going to play. Toppin's going to play. RJ's going to play. Austin Rivers is going to play. Alec Burks, I feel really pretty confident that dude is going to play. Elfrid Payton is going to play. That leaves 2 spots. And if you don't think they're going to work in Frank on ball, and you think Dennis Smith Jr. is going to be the backup point guard on this team, which I think, or starter, I think both of us are inclined to say that's a good possibility, then it's like, all right, so you got Knox, you got Frank, you got Quickly, to say nothing of Brazdeikis and Reggie Bullock, we didn't even mention. I
really do wonder if the Knicks will do something in terms of packaging Evans and another player for someone in an effort to clear a roster spot and get some sort of compensation back. But we'll see. I mean, they've got to trim it somehow. I'd rather not see them just cut Jacob Evans, not because I believe in him, and I doubt that they believe in him too, because they've got, they have point guards and they just signed Jared Harper to a two-way. But then we also haven't talked about Miles Powell. That's an intriguing option for them to try to hang on to.
But they could put him in the G League.
Yes. Where he could still sign anywhere. Yes, which is why I was a little skeptical. Skeptical is not the right word. I was a little surprised to see Theo Pinson get a two-way versus someone like Miles Powell. But
well, again, you never know. Is Powell CAA? I bet he is. Do you think he's going to be, if let's assume Tibbs plays a 10-man rotation, I'd forget about the first all the preseason games. Do you think Frank's part of the rotation?
I do. Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. Tibbs is so hard to read because it feels like he will never wax poetic about players. Maybe he'll talk about their ethic, their work ethic, how they're progressing, but he'll never say like, "Oh, this is what I love about him." Maybe in past stops he has done that, but it feels like with this team he's been a lot more subtle in terms of his praise. Today, I believe he said Frank's a very, very good player, something along those lines.
Two varies. Right. I heard it myself.
That's something important. I think that he's going to give him that opportunity because he sees the effort that's there and he wants to, whether it's inflating it for the trade value or just because he feels that he'll benefit the team, who knows? But I would be surprised if Frank's not a part of the rotation. I guess it's more the role that he's in and the fact that his minutes per game have been dropping every single year, that I'm just curious how he plays into things versus if he plays or how long he plays.
No, that's fair. It's going to be interesting.